Right. Today's focus, I think last week we were focusing about a lot more on oral communication, but today we are actually looking at situational writing. But what we are actually covering can also um, be used in composition as well, because we are looking at how to vary your sentence structure. Okay, and in terms of composition as well, you'll notice that when it comes to your marking, right, there will be a component whereby the teachers will look at your variety of sentences, and that falls under vocabulary, right? Falls under language. Okay, so in terms of language, I think you're quite familiar with it by now. Okay, it's actually half of your total marks, yeah. Okay, so how do we style your sentences using effective sentence patterns? Let's have a look at this. I think I don't have to go through house rules. Both of you are very familiar with this. Okay, so we'll just skip, yeah? Okay, so one of the most important parts of writing often gets left undone because we don't have enough time. Okay, and the thing is actually looking at your first draft. A lot of times the composition that you're submitting is usually your first draft. Okay, and I don't blame you for that because most of the time we don't have enough time, considering that your section, your paper one consists of editing, situational writing, as well as continuous writing, right? So there are so many components which you have to do it under 1 hour 50 minutes. So it can be quite rushed, and in terms of like getting it done, sometimes the time is just quite tight, right? Especially so if you are like, if you are a little bit stuck in terms of like drafting, or rather thinking through the flow of your compo. Okay, so basically we will now focus a bit more, okay, so that you will more or less consciously go and take a look at your draft so that you can ensure sentence fluency, because the moment you make it a habit, I think you will do better. Okay, so you do need to make it a habit to ensure the sentence is fluent, there's good transitioning, and there's the use of conventions as well. So we will look at the presentation in terms of different text formats. Okay, we'll look at some examples of different texts, and then we'll have a look at whether or not the sentence is fluent. Okay, so sentence fluency refers to the way that words or phrases sound in a sentence, or how groups of sentences flow. So you do need to know that in terms of fluency, in terms of cohesiveness of the compo or the situation writing, I think it is quite an important component. Basically, you might think that sentence fluency or cohesiveness of the compo lies under content, but actually it's not. It actually lies under language. Okay. Make a conscious effort to edit your text for sentence fluency. Yeah. Always keep the idea of sentence fluency at the back of your mind, right? So that's about it for sentence fluency. So how do you ensure that there's sentence fluency? You can actually have a variety. How do you have a variety? You can begin your sentences with the no, this one is not. Okay, you can have a mixture. I think this is the point. Have a mixture of long and short sentences. Okay, so sometimes you can have simple sentences, sometimes you can have compound sentences, sometimes you can have complex sentences. So when you have a variety of different sentence types, it sort of creates a variety. And when you have a variety, it doesn't sound so repetitive. It doesn't sound so boring. Okay, so try to have like a different structure to make your writing easier to read and understand. Yeah. Okay, so to improve sentence fluency in your text, look out for the following: the way in which sentences are structured to make them easy to understand, the use of similar beginning and end sounds. Having too many similar sounding words in a sentence can make your writing harder to understand. Okay? Okay, so what we can do is pay attention to subject-verb agreement. Fragmented sentences means incomplete sentence, yeah. So if you do not write in full sentence, it is considered a fragment. So it is not complete, okay? And then also take note of compounding sentences, because compound sentences means you have two simple sentences and you put them together. So that's compounding sentence. And also be careful when you add information to the sentence itself. Okay? All right. So subject-verb agreement, singular verbs should go with singular nouns and plural verbs should go with plural nouns. That's what we mean by subject-verb agreement. Okay? We think that her action. So we is a plural noun. It should go with a plural verb. So that's called subject-verb agreement, because what's the subject? The subject is we. The verb is think. Okay, Sherman is here. Hey, Sherman, are you there? Yeah. Actually, we were just wondering, okay, I think maybe because of the shift of the schedule, we are actually expecting more people, but now there are just the three of you, but that's okay. We'll still go on with the lesson. What we are covering today is sentence structure and sentence fluency in situational writing as well as compo. Okay. And I was just highlighting the importance of it because if you notice, sentence variety is one of the aspects that they look at when they mark your compo as well as situation writing, and it falls under language. And on top of that, sentence fluency also contributes to the cohesiveness of the writing. So if it is cohesive, actually cohesiveness falls under your language as well. Okay, so if you want to score like under these two components for language, you want to score well, you need to make sure that your sentence structure is correct, your sentences put together are fluent. That's why it's really important to go through this. Okay. Now, we are just at number one, subject agreement. We're going to talk about fragments now. So sentences should have a complete thought. If it's not a complete thought, if it is something like an independent clause, it means that you will not have a complete sentence. Okay, so you need to ensure that it's a complete sentence that includes a subject and a verb. Generally, for English sentences, the most simple sentence will comprise of a subject, verb, and an object. Okay, so in this case, like for example, this example given to you, call her now, right? Call is a verb, her is the subject, and now, of course, is trying to tell us a little bit more. It's an adverbial of time actually, now. Okay, it's an adverb. So when do you call her? You call her now, right? So that's an adverbial of time. So this one is considered still call her now, right? So call is a verb. This is a subject. Now is actually an adverbial of time. Okay. Now, when we come to compounding sentences, basically, like I said, compounding sentences means to join information or sentences together. So I think it's very common for English sentences to be compound sentences. So for example, when you want to summarize different effects of smoking, you can actually write it in a compound sentence like this. Okay, smoking causes lung cancer, heart disease, and psychological problems. So actually, if you were to separate them up, you can say that smoking causes lung cancer, smoking causes heart disease, smoking causes psychological problems. Okay, so when you put them together, you use the conjunction and. right? If you were to use the conjunction and, then in this case, it is like, one by one. Yeah. Okay. Now let's move on to the next one. Lastly, we will also take note of sentence fluency in terms of adding information. You do not want to add information unnecessarily. So when you synthesize or when you summarize information, we may insert information to a main point. Okay. So like for example, this one is the one that is not synthesized. Okay, not synthesize or summarize. Okay, that is a simulated exercise to help students learn about wartime experiences. The students would be able to experience what people went through then. Okay, so this is not summarized, not synthesized, a lot of information. So what we want to do is that we want to just synthesize it. That's why when you're in primary school, you do synthesis and transformation, right? So what the teacher is getting you to do is to basically make it more concise, right? So how do you synthesize or summarize it? You can say throughout the simulated exercise, students will be able to learn about the experiences of the people during wartime. Okay, so that is it. Can you identify the problem with each paragraph? Anyone? There are 3 paragraphs, so I suppose each of you will take one. Who would like to go first? Oh, Levon, I just saw your message. What do you mean by they cannot find the link in the website? But how come you were able to find the link? What do you mean by they cannot? Okay. So they sent your mom the link, but they didn't put it on the website. Is that what you're trying to say? So those people who are able to come in is because you have the link from your mom or parents. Oh, I see. No wonder. Yeah, because I was expecting more than that. It's just very weird. Okay. Yeah, maybe let me just feedback to them. I think they should have put the link on the website as well. Although I think your parents should have been informed already. Yeah. Okay. Now, okay, we'll go back to these 3 paragraphs. Each of you will take one. Okay, I think I will assign. If not, I will not get a response. You can type it out if you're shy to speak. Okay, but let's go according to the sequence. No, I think Larissa came in first. Okay, the sequence you guys came in. Yeah, Levon will do paragraph 2, and then Sherman will do paragraph 3. Okay, so tell me what's wrong with the sentence. What's wrong with each paragraph, actually? It's not a sentence, it's paragraph. Okay, I'll give you 2 minutes to think about it, yeah, before you speak. Can we have Larissa first?